You're on the party line with Sara and Christy. This is I'm on the Phone podcast, where we're healing out loud, sharing culty stories, and laughing at the mess along the way. So grab a coffee, a bestie, settle in, and let's talk. All right. Hey, friends. Welcome back to I'm on the Phone with Sara and Christy, yours truly. So today's episode is going to be pretty intense. You might hear a familiar style of speaking. Hopefully it's not familiar to you, but it's pretty revealing as to what we grew up in. As far as sitting in church and going to camp meetings, this is the type of preaching we would hear. So we're breaking down a sermon from 1983 by H.E. Darnell, which was preached at a camp meeting for the Pilgrim Holiness Church, which is a group that falls under the umbrella of the CHM, which is the community that we came from. Like, the CHM is like a broad umbrella term for all these little denominations and non-denominations. They were one of the larger groups that were very influential, one of the more conservative groups. And I was familiar with this man's name at the very least. I remember hearing people talk about him, praising him. This man was very revered. So we're going to use one of his sermons. It's not even the whole thing, guys. We get through maybe 20 minutes of this sermon. We're going to use it to examine how fear, shame, and authority get weaponized in high control religion from the pulpit.
So it's wild how quickly it goes from dramatic, emotional to full-on psychological manipulation. In this particular episode, we're especially focusing on one moment, and that is the public shame of a pastor's wife.
Yay!
That the system turns on women to maintain control.
Yeah, it gets pretty ugly pretty quickly. Actually, it goes from 0 to 60 in a millisecond.
Crazy.
We do have a content warning today, guys. So before we jump in, this episode does contain themes of religious trauma, manipulation, like we just said, abuse, spiritual abuse, public humiliation of a woman. So if this is sensitive for you or triggering for you, you may want to pause, listen carefully, be careful as you listen, maybe come back to this on a different day. Just be careful. I know I played the first less than a minute of the introduction, which happened to be the wrong sermon, but it's the same guy and it's the same dynamics. I played it a minute for Christy the other day, and we had to stop because it was that bad. Today, we're coming in a little more prepared. Yes.
Just a little bit more. I'm playing short clips from the sermon under fair use for purposes of commentary, criticism, and education. This sermon is publicly available on YouTube, and we'll include the link on the episode description for transparency. We are not endorsing or promoting that channel, however.
No, I'm only doing this for fair use, and I do not want to drive traffic there. Yeah. Because our goal is not to spread the content, it's to expose how this spiritual rhetoric gets used to control and silence people, and unfortunately, especially women. All right, you ready to jump in?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Might want to put your feet on the ground, take a deep breath.
No kidding.
Take a sip of your coffee.
Yeah. Keep your coffee close.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay. And your therapist on speed dial.
Exactly.
Okay, we're going to start off with this.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was as a fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open. The text is in the form of a question. What wilt thou say when he shall punish thee?
Hey, that's the beginning. That's his text. It is from Daniel. The chapter and verse are not coming to my mind right now. I'll put it in there on the screen. But yeah, that's how we begin. So, I mean, immediately, how are you feeling? And I do mean quite literally, because this is the point.
Okay, so immediately when I hear a voice like this, immediately it turns my stomach, like flip-flop turns my stomach. I can't stand it. And that's pretty much that's pretty much how it starts out, and it just goes downhill from there. Sometimes I start to, like, my heart starts beating a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like it takes me a minute to get angry, which is what I should do. Immediately it's fear.
Yes.
So you hear somebody's voice like this, you hear a sermon like this. This is what I grew up listening to.
Yep.
On tapes, basically, because I never sat in a like a congregation with him preaching.
Yeah, these were distributed to listen to on tape.
Yeah, but I did listen to tapes, and immediately that invokes like fear, extreme fear in me. And that comes from being a child.
Yeah.
Like, I remember hearing these and thinking, oh, they're preaching hell and damnation.
Yep.
I mean, that's exact. So yeah, that's what I'm sitting with now. It didn't take me long, thank God, to get angry, because
Yeah.
what's coming
And
out of
that's
his
progress.
mouth. Yeah, it is. What's coming out of his mouth is utter crap. But it is but at the very beginning it was, you could feel that
The
whole
initial
feeling,
response.
that fear. Yeah.
Yeah. So psychologically, oh, I forgot to say, I'm not a professional. This is my personal opinion
Right.
based on like my own years of research and reading
Yeah.
and healing and being a survivor. And I mean, the stuff I'm reading is from professionals, so that's where I'm learning it from. But this is my personal take. But sorry, I didn't say that earlier. But right now, like, that portion of scripture is very fear invoking, what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And the title of this sermon is Judgment.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see
So,
it now.
so he's already positioning himself as the judge,
Yeah.
really, in front of this congregation, because wait until you see how he talks to them.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Heavenly Father, these are solemn and fearful words that we read from thy word today. And we thank thee for thy word, which is a lamp unto our feet. Thank you for these admonitions that come upon us, upon whom the ends of this age are come, that all Scripture is given by inspiration of God, profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, truly furnished unto all good works. We thank you for your love to us. We thank you for the beautiful Spirit pervading the atmosphere of the service this morning. Thank you for this beautiful singing that has struck a responsive chord in our own soul. We've sensed the presence of God upon it, and we thank you.
I'm not going to go through that whole prayer, but the prayer itself is very manipulative.
Yeah, he's reminding the congregation, I feel like, that he's getting ready to interpret directly from God himself, and whatever he says is, whatever comes out of his filthy mouth is going to be God's truth.
Yeah.
And It's just not true. But he is conditioning the crowd for what
Yes.
he's about to say.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to skip ahead here to the 4-minute mark.
The text speaks of judgment and future punishment and looks forward to the time when God shall judge and punish the disobedient and the rebellious because of their sins. This reminds us of the fact that there are two phases to the nature of God. First, there is the love side. John said, God is love. God said, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked. Turn ye from your evil ways, for why will you die? I am not willing, saith God, that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. So great is God's love that the songwriter tells us it goes beyond the highest star.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I tried to look up this man's like educational credentials. I couldn't find anything about him in my search, and maybe I'm just, I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but I feel like he sounds a little uneducated, and we're just extrapolating scripture. I know this is like part of the dichotomy of what we're taught. Like, we're taught that he's love and merciful, etc., etc. Like, they say that, but nothing they do or say reflects that.
Right.
So what they even view as love is baseline abuse. So you can hear in what I played so far, which is a very, very small portion, the fire, like the fear, it's very theatrical. And it's not about love. Even though he put that in there, I mean, you could say, he can say he said something about love, but it's about the judgment and control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it sets the emotional tone for everything else that follows. It's
Yes.
when you've been conditioned to respond to fear as conviction. Oh my gosh, I have so much experience with that. Like you're,
Hey, like I
that word right
finally,
there is just triggering itself to me.
yes. Well,
It's crazy.
when I told my story about like my whole makeup journey,
Yes.
I was recognizing fear, literally feeling it in my body and then calling it conviction.
Right.
That is
Yes.
exactly what was happening.
Yes.
And because I'm, once you keep listening, you'll understand even more. But when you're conditioned to question everything you do to the minutest detail,
Mm-hmm.
because you, as we'll find out, may not know that you were wrong. And that's still your fault.
Yeah.
Still your fault.
Yeah. And it's so, and it's the fear inducing, and then it's the fear is what brings on the conviction. You know, it has to be conviction. It has to be straight from God or straight from this preacher, from God to this preacher to you.
Yes.
And then you'll just listen to whatever voice makes that fear stop.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You just want to be safe.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. You're just looking for baseline.
You're looking for safety.
Basic safety.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go again.
And reach us to the lowest hell. So great is God's love to you and me today that no matter how far out in sin you may be or how far away from God, God is doing everything in His power, yea, everything that you will let Him do to save you from sin and from destruction and from hell. But in spite of the fact that God is a God of mercy and a God of love, there is also another phase to the nature of God.
Is He though?
No.
I'm sorry, but is He though?
Sorry, people, but I don't agree with that at all.
No.
Makes it, oh, makes it sound like God's running after us, and we are just bullheadedly. I never was that way.
No,
Never.
Like it makes it sound like no matter who you are and what your story is, he's doing everything and you're just like doing nothing.
Yeah.
And that your nothing is rebellion. No matter what you're doing, it's going to be rebellion. No matter what you're doing, it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
With no, and it's all arbitrary. Like it's all,
yeah.
It's going to be whatever he says is rebellion.
Yeah.
And it's going to change from preacher to preacher and church to church and person to person.
And that's why people adopt. That's why they adopt whatever the preacher is doing in his own life. They adopt that. They adopt those convictions. They adopt those principles. Whatever he lives by, whatever freaking car he drives. It gets that bad. It's crazy. It's a people pleasing mentality. It goes into like this people pleasing mentality. My daughter, 14-year-old freaking daughter, just said to me the other day, I know it's very simple, but it was profound to me because she said people pleasing does not exist because when you try, it never works. Like it's never enough. So to actually please someone is impossible. It doesn't exist. I mean,
the action exists, but the pleasing of the person never happens.
Yeah. Like you're trying to please someone.
Mm-hmm. You're chasing a moving goalpost.
It actually does exist. Yeah. Like the action you're trying to, but actually completing that goal, like
never happens.
There is absolutely no way. And so in her opinion, why do it? And that's exactly right. Like that's why we left. We quit. Yeah. We quit pleasing everyone in the holiness movement. But that's exactly this preacher is.
Yep.
Like it, not just him. It was all those preachers. They were like this pinnacle that everybody, is that the word I'm looking for? It was like a temple that everybody was worshiping.
Yeah.
Instead of anyway.
Well, and how often and how much they idolized the thoughts and opinions of a man.
Yes.
Who were often uneducated, especially in this time, in this era.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Oh, God.
We hear little about and think little about these days, and that is the wrath side. And just as it is impossible with mere human words to picture to you the infinite love of a wonderful God, so it is far beyond the power of all human description to accurately tell you about the awful wrath of a holy, just, and avenging God. But I think it's quite sufficient today to say that in spite of the fact that He's a God of mercy and a God of love, in spite of the fact that He loves you so well, that He'll do all in His divine power to save your soul from sin and hell, in spite of that fact, I say, if you continue in your disobedience and rebellion, there will come a day for you when mercy will cease and wrath will come, and you will be judged and punished because of your sins.
So,
okay. Okay. So I don't know if you've noticed the very theatrical nature of how he talks and how he kind of glossed over that God is loving. But then when he went into like the description of how wrathful God is, it got really like very theatrical.
Yeah,
like
shaky voice and
just really drew out how they like wrath was there and God is going to come and get you and He's going to judge you.
Yeah.
He he didn't really care about the fact that God is love, and he acts like it's on equal terms. Like
Yeah.
the wrath, it's like two sides of the same coin.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that's problematic, because to me that sounds like an abuser that you never know who you're going to get from day to day or moment to moment.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's like, if his wrath is equal to his love, they kind of cancel each other out.
Yeah. It reminds me of when some preachers would say in their sermons, God is not this type of God that's standing over you with the baseball bat ready to whack you every time you make a mistake. But yet that's what they preached.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they preached, is that he was standing
Yeah.
over you with some kind of whatever baseball bat,
Spiritual.
ready to whack you on the head if you made a mistake, or if you fell into sin, which is
Yes.
not possible for you to do, quite literally, in my opinion. You don't just fall. Oh my God. Anyway,
It's so much more nuanced than what they make it sound.
it's
So,
crazy. Yeah.
right, here we go again.
Punish thee as you stand there with the blazing, searching eyes of Almighty God looking through and through you, as you stand there with every eye in the universe fastened upon your naked, shivering, trembling soul, as you stand there guilty and condemned with your sins staring you in the face, no hope of repenting, no hope of being saved, no hope of being sanctified, no hope of getting right with God. What wilt thou say when he shall punish thee?
Okay. What do you notice about that? Is there anything in particular?
Okay. Well,
Like, what kind of
definitely,
dynamic is he creating? I know we laughed at it, but
well, it just, just saying you're standing there with your naked soul. Like, okay. So he was saying God sees everything, basically. He's looking straight through you. So
Mhm.
that is the idea that you're never alone, you never have peace, you never have quiet, you never have, and you constantly have judgment about everything that you do in your life. So
Yeah.
that's what I got from it.
Yeah.
And then you have no hope
Yeah. That's a big
outside
one.
of God. That, like, there's no hope whatsoever of, it's just knocking you down one peg at a time, basically.
Yeah.
It's just low, 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 low. There is
Yeah.
absolutely no uplifting whatsoever. There's no encouragement whatsoever. It is just, that's what I felt, was that it was just slapping you upside the head over and over and over.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, so I know we laughed at where he started talking about nakedness. When they talk about nakedness, it is always associated with shame and humiliation.
Yes. Yes.
And so the feeling is humiliation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you cannot hide or be covered, even modestly.
Mm-hmm.
And the other interesting thing is, this whole time, the people that this man is talking to or preaching to, they're at camp meeting.
Right.
They're Christians, largely
Right.
speaking, or claim to be Christians. So these are people who are conscientious, who
Mm-hmm.
are trying, who
Mm-hmm.
are doing their best,
Yeah.
or they're wolves in sheep's clothing, hiding their things,
Mm-hmm.
and they should be a little bit humiliated. um, but he's also like putting himself in that position of looking you over.
Yeah.
And it's like, he knows your sin.
Yeah.
He's definitely placing himself in the power of the power and control dynamic
Yes.
in this situation.
Right.
So this next part, my jaw about dropped when he says this. See if you catch it.
Oh.
I Just see if you catch it.
You say, first of all, my punishment is not just and not fair. No, you'll not be able to say that and tell the truth, for God is the judge of all the earth. And here in the...
Okay, I'm just going to stop it there. Did you notice what he said?
My judgment is not just or not fair?
No, God's judgment is not God's judgment just and fair. No, but that's not what I'm going for.
No, okay, I didn't catch it.
Okay, I'm going to go back.
Okay.
Will you say, first of all, my punishment is not just and not fair? No, you'll not be able to say that and tell the truth.
Catch that?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but
He said, okay, so he's saying we are standing before God, right? And you want to defend yourself because you're naked before God, basically.
okay.
And you won't be able to say that my punishment isn't fair. And then he says, you won't be able to tell the truth.
Oh. Okay.
And I was like,
That's interesting. Not
I think he just told a truth without realizing he told a truth.
right. You won't be able to tell the truth about how
It's unjust and unfair.
it's unjust and unfair.
And we'll get more into this because he ain't lying on that one.
Does he go more into that?
Yeah, listen to where this goes. This is why my head was exploding going through this.
Okay.
Sorry, my
I'm
OCD
intrigued.
nerd self is coming out to play.
Oh, no. You're good.
Okay, so he says you won't be able to tell the truth because...
For God is the judge of all the earth. And here in the Bible, Abraham asked the question, will not the judge of all the earth do right? There is no injustice and there is no unfairness with God. It is sad but true that in this world juries can be bought.
Okay, he says Abraham says that. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like listening and I'm like, why does he suddenly reference Abraham?
Yeah.
Like kind of out of the blue. And that is a direct quote from Genesis 18, from 24 and 20 verses 24 through 26, where Abraham, this is what's happening. And this is like why I say it's out of context.
Mm-hmm.
And actually proves the point that he did slip up and tell a truth that you can't defend. Okay. So what's happening in Genesis 18, 24 through 26 is where Abraham is talking God down off the cliff of completely wiping out Sodom and Gomorrah. And he's like, God, what if there's 50 righteous people? Will you still destroy it? And then he goes, what if there's 45? And what if there's,
Yeah.
and he keeps going down and down and down. What if there's this many righteous people? Are you still going to destroy it?
Yeah.
He gets down to 9. And God's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, so it would be true for the 9 righteous people to say that my punishment is unjust and unfair. Right?
Yeah.
To have the punishment that was given to Sodom and Gomorrah, they paid that price, even though they lived righteously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sarah.
Do you not? I found that to be a very interesting little link right there.
Yeah. I think, okay. So this is what I hate for preachers to do. And maybe this is like a little off the whatever. I hate it for them to grab scripture from one end of the Bible to the other and use it in their sermons and completely take it out of context.
Yes.
out of what it is, what the whole thing is really saying.
Yeah.
Like I would much rather than just preach on one chapter of the Bible.
Yeah.
And if even one full chapter of the Bible within the book can be taken out of context.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, the confusion
Right.
of taking that one passage out of Genesis, trying to incorporate it into his sermon to fit his agenda
Yeah.
of what he's trying to, it's pathetic. It's
Yeah.
absolutely pathetic. And it shows absolutely no creativity. He does not have any understanding of the
Well,
Bible. Not really.
no. And here's the thing, like,
his sermon.
yeah. But I mean, like, I'm sitting here in 2025 listening to this, having to thankfully be able to like go back 10, 20, 30, 40 seconds and re-listen to make sure that I'm hearing him correctly.
Right.
And then be able to go search for what he was saying, either in my Bible app or on Google.
Right.
And find out where did that come from?
Right.
Those people can't sit there and do that.
Yeah, those people didn't have the luxury of that.
No. And honestly, I don't know that they were that curious to find out, or like, do they even care?
Well, the people that were truly hungry for something more were just swallowing everything hook, line, and sinker. And we're probably, it puts them into a tailspin. I have somebody who is very close to us who is constantly in a tailspin because
Yes.
of crap.
Yep.
And
well, it is spiritual abuse, and it is psychological warfare.
yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's cult tactics 101.
Absolutely.
All right, we can move on. There's so much in here. I think just for time's sake, maybe I'll skip a little to 12:23.
Okay.
Because it's going to matter. And just pay attention to what I am including.
Okay.
Because it comes into play.
Unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For listen, by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. And again Jesus declared, those things that are whispered in the closet shall be shouted upon the housetops.
I love that one.
Idle words, yes.
Oh, he goes into depth on these idle words too. Like,
great. Yeah.
But that scripture he referenced right there, guess where that one's from?
Oh, I have no clue.
Oh, because he said everything's going to be shouted from the rooftops, right? Everything's going to be revealed in the end. That's what landed me in Matthew 10 last night.
Oh, okay.
Because he's talking about how at judgment everything's he's still on this whole being laid bare thing. Everything's gonna be out in the open, and if you believe in this and that happens in some ways, I guess that's cool. Because I do want justice for injustice.
Right.
I'm very much a proponent for true justice.
Right.
But again, he just like grabs the scripture from Matthew 10 now, where Jesus is giving instructions to the disciples at this point to only go and preach the gospel to the Jews, to the people who are quote unquote worthy, and tells them, I'm going to whisper in your ear and you go preach that, and you're going to do that. And then what's not, basically like what's said in secret will be, you will go say it out loud.
Right.
I don't think that that's what he's talking about. That context to me does not match.
No, it doesn't.
So, that's my opinion. Obviously, like I said, it's just my opinion. But again, it's another verse that's just like grabbed and thrown in to make his point make sense.
Yeah, and it's also fear-inducing. just like his whole entire
Oh,
freaking sermon is.
Yes.
It's fear that whatever you say to your best friend is
Yes.
going to be shouted from the housetop if it is controversial to the preacher.
Yeah.
And or to the Lord's anointed. That really is triggering because crap.
Here, I'm gonna let this play a little bit more because we're on the right track.
Okay.
Out of it, every dirty, nasty word, every curse word, every vile, obscene word, every oath that's ever passed through your lips that's not under the blood will be shouted out in that hour for every ear to hear. Think of it, every bit of the gossip and the slander and the backbiting that's ever passed through your lips that's not under the blood will be trumpeted out in that hour for every ear to hear. No, you were too big a moral coward to look your fellow human being in the eyes and say the thing about him that you felt about him. But like the dirty, slimy, sneaking snake that you are, you slithered through the grass and bit him in the back. You murdered his reputation and wrecked his influence.
All right, now you're just the devil himself.
Yeah. So look where he's taking this. And think about the verbiage that you hear. Who do they say gossips?
Women.
Who ruins men's reputations?
Yep. Women. Yep. That's who we are. We're just gossip.
And if we talk about what actually happens, and if we call it out, apparently we're the problem for ruining their reputation and ruining their ministry when they won't take deviancy seriously.
Absolutely.
Like crime. And I'm just going to say that my observations in the last few years of this particular group will confirm that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let this go a little. We're getting into the fun stuff here, just FYI. All right, let's go again.
He was not there to defend himself. A yellow streak down your back, at least a foot wide. If there's anybody in this world that sends little shivers up and down my spine, it's a two-faced Judas. It's one that'll be one way when he's to your face and altogether different towards you when he's around other people concerning you when you're not there to hear. Are you listening to me?
I think we heard a sermon that told us to do exactly that not too long ago. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying. No, I can't remember now.
It went viral from Berean Holiness, the one with James Plank.
Oh, okay. What did he say exactly? I know which one you're talking about, but now I can't remember.
No, he literally the leader of the IHC literally told people from the pulpit that you should not tell people the truth to their face and treat them kindly, and then you can say what you really think behind their back.
Yeah.
And that's kosher, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, because we have to be nice to people, don't we?
This is actually the only way I've seen people really operate.
Absolutely. Is a two-faced Judas.
But I think it's very interesting that he's saying this because I'm like, well, are you telling on yourself? Because this is not how people are behaving. I think he's actually right. Like, people shouldn't talk about you behind your back if you are literally just gossiping or slandering someone.
Right. Right.
But the context that he's putting it in, and when he says gossip and to ruin a man's reputation or someone's ministry reputation, those are almost always inferences to women.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
That's how it's always been put. All right, keep going.
personal feeling in the matter perhaps was my brother, my sister, my neighbors, my friends, my pastor, the pastor's wife, the evangelist, the singers, my loved ones, my neighbors. They'll never know what I've said about them when they were not around. But that little friend is where you are exactly mistaken. One day they're going to know everything that you've ever said about them when they were not around. I'm going to know what you've been saying about me. And some of you have been saying, oh yes you have. And you're going to know what I've been saying about you when you were not there, if anything.
The pastor's wife.
He's literally naming like what you're saying about all these people. Like, again, I can't say that like what like just on the surface he's saying is wrong. It's not. Like, you shouldn't talk about people like that. And if you have a problem with people, you should talk to them. And if they're not going to hear you, it's okay to walk away.
Right.
And you don't have to like. And again, this depends on what is actually happening, because he's not defining it. Like, what is going on? Because if we're talking like just me, that's one thing. If you're just being petty.
Yeah.
Most of the time, that is not what we're talking about.
No.
At all.
And it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. You cannot put everything under a blanket and say there's one rule. That's what's so messed up about this whole thing, and that's what gets people so confused. There's not one rule to anything that he's saying.
No.
Not even in the Bible, if you believe that way. It's just...
And I think it's hilarious that he's like, and what I say, and then he's like, afterthought, if anything.
Yeah, I got to put that in there, because I'm certainly not going to get trumpeted.
I mean, that's some accountability.
My words are not going to be trumpeted from the rooftops. Because I'm perfect. I'm perfect. I don't
wait
talk
until
about
you
anybody.
hear how perfect he is. I'm just saying.
Crap.
Yeah. Okay. Onward.
Pastor is going to know what you say behind his back, in spite of all the sweet little things you can say when you're around him. And you're going to know what he says about you when you're not around, if anything. And every one of us is going to know what the other has been saying about the other. Now, I've tried to make it the rule of my life. For a good many years now, I've done my dead level best to make it the rule of my life that if I cannot find something good to say about anyone when they're not around, if I can't find anything good to say, I keep my big fat mouth shut and my lip buttoned, and I say nothing at all. I tell you, friends, there are times when I've had to gnaw my tongue and almost chew on my lips to keep from saying things. Dear Lord, this is a dangerous individual in my opinion. I feel I ought to speak and warn these people, but God somehow or other just will not let me.
I'm sorry. I'm like, I can't take this man seriously. What a victim.
Yeah, he had to chew on his lip and gnaw on his tongue to keep... Okay, whatever.
Because God wouldn't let him.
God would not let him out.
Well, I mean, but that again places him in this whole look at how well I'm obeying God in spite of what I want to do.
Look at me. Yeah.
And that just tells me what he really thinks about people.
Absolutely. Like,
he's admitting it.
He's having to be restrained by God, not by his own self-control.
Right.
By God, not to speak. So what else is God restraining him from that he doesn't have self-control about? This is extremely... Oh my goodness. Okay, so if God isn't restraining you, what the heck are you doing then to other people?
Yeah.
What message does this put on other men that they can do as long as God isn't there to restrain them? That's just up to interpretation.
Why does it take God to restrain you for you to be a nice, good person?
Exactly.
Because, like, look at how many people in the world who are not Christians like the atheists can control themselves better than people who have God restraining them, supposedly.
Yeah, well, I can see it.
Yeah.
Because they know that it's all up to their own self-control and their own discipline about that. But no, we're teaching these men in this congregation that anything goes. It's either like, it feels like either one of two things is anything goes as long as you're not being spoken to by God and whoever is under your control and your leadership, you can have your way with, quite literally. And then
yes,
either that or you've got some very conscientious men in this congregation who believes that if they don't have a good enough relationship with God,
yeah,
then he doesn't speak to them
or control them,
and therefore they don't know what the heck to do. They're constantly in a state of, what do I do next, and not able to make decisions, not fulfilling.
It's very destabilizing.
Very,
very destabilizing.
And then they are supposed to be the leader of their home.
Yeah.
According to the Holiness movement.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be the leader of their home and everything is put on them. I mean, no wonder some of these people are depressed and go out and do some horrible things.
I mean, yeah, because at what point in this sermon, and let me just tell you, I don't recommend you listen to these sermons. They are awful.
No.
But there's no point at which they give you stable ground to stand on, and yet they also preach that we have certainty. But it's just rhetoric. Nothing they offer you has any certainty. So you are constantly in a state of emotional instability.
Right.
Constantly. It's literally putting you into fight or flight. Like, it's messing with your nervous system.
Yes.
It's causing you CPTSD because nothing is safe, stable, solid, true. Like, you never know, because there could always be something you might not catch.
Yeah. And God is supposed to be your foundation, right? But there is no solid foundation whatsoever.
No, but God is wrath.
Right. And it's a crumbling foundation. If any at all is there.
Extremely.
Like, you have got.
Yes.
It's terrible. Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
Yes.
Do it. He will not let me be free with the other fellow's reputation and influence when he's not there to defend himself. I've seen too much depredation and harm and ruin and chaos wrought by loose, careless tongues. God bless your heart. I went to hold a meeting in a place some years ago, and I've been there so many times across the years until I've lost track of it. I don't know how many times I've been there, but it was always before that. An old-fashioned, rugged, second blessing Holiness church. And the crowd had called me back again and again. And in the meantime...
Okay, can we just pat ourselves on the back a little bit? How many times you've been called to this church?
An old, rugged, second blessing Holiness. Whatever. What does that even mean? Good grief.
Oh, they're talking about entire sanctification.
Yeah, I know, but it's still very, anyway, I cannot wait to hear what.
Well, just wait till you hear what's at this amazing church that he has been called back to over and over. And honestly, just think about all he has said up to this point about how you treat people, how you talk to people, how you should not talk about people behind their back if they're not there to defend themselves, yada, yada, yada. Just remember that, okay? And how amazing he is at self-control. Okay?
Oh, great. Okay.
Well, how amazing the Lord is at controlling him, apparently. Here we go.
Oh, crap.
How they could get a pastor and his wife like they happened to get in that particular instance, I will never know. That little pastor's wife was a sight to behold. Her hair was too short. Her sleeves were too short. Her skirt was too short. Her tongue was too long. She was long and short in the wrong places. And I proceeded to try to mind the Lord, the very best.
Aren't we off to a great start at this little revival?
Okay. Okay. That takes the cake. She was, okay, this is not the first thing I noticed, obviously, because he is being very, very
Grandiose
towards her appearance, for one thing. But also, she was long and short in all the wrong places.
He's already sexualized her tremendously.
He has sexualized her tremendously. So my question to him is, where would you like her to be long and short? What are the right places that you want her to be long and short? Because apparently there are wrong places. Oh my. Okay. This is like, my heart is pounding.
Yep.
The absolute gall that he has to even speak about a woman and her appearance, not to mention the fact that she is a pastor's wife. So he is doing the very thing that he just said not to do. And she's not there to defend herself.
I guess that yellow streak down his back is a foot wide.
But he's not talking about a man. So apparently, it's okay for him to talk about somebody behind their back as long as it's a woman. What?
And as long as God said he should.
Yeah, because...
Oh, wait, just get there. We'll get there. Oh, this is like, yep, I'm telling you. Here we go.
I knew how. There was no doubt in that crowd's mind how I'd preach. They'd had me there often enough. They ought to have known by then. If they didn't realize how I was going to preach, they were going to heaven with the babies and the idiots anyway, and no need to worry about them. God bless your heart. But
he is okay. When he says God bless your heart, he is being very condescending. I'm sorry.
But that's a Southern God bless you.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a huge F you.
The worst kind. Absolutely. No idle words, you piece of crap. That's an idle word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to heaven with the babies and the idiots. What did that mean? Please explain that.
He's literally calling them babies and idiots because they knew what his opinions were when they invited him. So they shouldn't be surprised over his opinions and his view of this pastor's wife. Like, what did you expect? I've been here 1,000 times. What did you expect? What did he say to her?
Right.
That's what I want to know. What did he say to her?
I would love to know that too. And I would love to hear her side of it.
Okay. Also, insert right here. This is where we're going to fully suss out DARVO. This is an abuser's tactic. It stands for deny, attack, reverse offender, and victim. So the victim and the offender flip-flop. So think about what he's already done.
Mm-hmm.
What he has said about her. He's already denying any culpability in this situation, any accountability. And he's going to use God, you'll hear in a second, he's going to use God as the excuse. Okay?
Okay.
Listen, so he's already denying, but he's going to deny a little bit more. Hold on.
Proceeded to try to mind the Lord just like I always had previously. That little pastor's wife put up with it as long as she could stand it. One night when we got home from service to the parsonage, she proceeded to unload on me and tell me exactly how she felt about the way that I was preaching. Now, the fact is that if she hadn't have been in 1,000 miles of that meeting, I'd have still preached like I was preaching in that meeting with the leadership of the Lord. I was not concentrating on her. I was not trying to be personal. I was merely preaching what God laid upon my heart.
That's bullshit.
Yep. If that were true, he would not have to defend himself. Okay? Like,
right.
So he's denying hardcore that he's at fault. And I'm like, methinks you do protest too much.
No, it ain't. Oh my goodness.
He's already presenting himself. He's starting that reversal. He's not the victim, or she's not the victim. He is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And you see that twist happening.
Right. Because
he came in and like his first freaking words about her were utter humiliation, degradation, like didn't even treat her like a human being.
Right. Absolutely. And the fact is, didn't he say when he got there, after seeing the pastor's wife, he knew what the Lord wanted him to preach about? I think he said that earlier when he said, I got there. Yeah, you might have to go back and listen to that, because I think he said when he got there, I knew immediately these are not.
Well, he was saying that he's saying this congregation should have known better. Like, he's saying that the congregation should know that she is wrong because they know what he thinks, because he's been there so many times.
So maybe I misunderstood that wrong. Yeah.
I mean, maybe you got it too. I could have missed that as well. But
I have heard preachers actually admit that they will change what they are going to preach about after they see someone walk through the door and they're already up and preaching. They will veer off to another because they feel like that this particular person needs to hear. That is judgment.
That's manipulation.
They don't know. They don't have a clue who that person is, where they came from, whatever. And they end up driving people away more than bringing them in, which I don't want anybody to be brought in anyway, not in this group. But still, at the same time, it is just such a... I really commend this pastor's wife for standing up to him, because back then he was a big
and he's framing her as the abuser because she finally let loose. Like, she held it in as long as she could. And she is actually doing what he said you should do.
Absolutely. And you could tell he knew that he was, what do you call it?
He knew what he was doing was wrong.
Provoking her. He knew he was provoking her because he said she put up with it, tolerated it as long as she possibly could.
Yep.
He knew exactly what he was doing. And I do not believe for a second that God was in that. Not if he's the God that everybody's in
any of this. So, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so let's keep going. We're going to see the complete turnaround here. So he's already like full on denial. He's already he's already placing himself as the victim rather than the offender.
Yep.
So, and he's already attacked her. He started with denial and attack like simultaneously.
Yeah, right out of the gate.
Yeah. So here we go again.
I wouldn't be cowardly enough to stand up in a pulpit and take advantage of somebody personally just because I knew there was something wrong in their life. I would be more apt to steer clear away from it unless God held me right down to it and said, this is it. And that was exactly the way it was in the meeting. God said, this is it. I had to mind him. And
we're full on victim mode here.
Yep.
And doing it in the name of the Lord.
Yep. And if you want to blame somebody, you better go to your prayer closet and talk to the person whose fault it is.
Yeah. And like, listen to his tone of voice, like how it changed when he started putting himself in the victim space. He got softer,
Yeah.
much softer. When he's talking about her, he gets really harsh. There's like an edge in there. Now he's the victim, and it's like, now you know I wouldn't do that if the Lord didn't tell me to, and the Lord told me to.
Right. Right.
He has completely changed the tone of his voice.
And what they call it nowadays is using the God card.
Oh yes,
Any kind of, yeah, if you don't want to, any kind of blame, get the blame off of yourself, you can always blame it on God.
He's literally blaming God for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is exactly what God would not do. But this is not Christ-like.
No. That is not the Christ that he preaches himself. And so therefore, I mean, it's like what happened really is that he saw her and was so disturbed. There's possibility he was turned on by how short her skirt was and the fact that she was long and short in all the wrong places. And it bothered him so much he couldn't get his mind off of it. And so therefore, God must be wanting him to preach against her specifically. That's what happened. It's not that God actually did talk to him. It is that he got his freaking brain all messed up because of this pastor's wife. The pastor himself wasn't bothering him. I mean, he could have been standing there with a mohawk and a ring on his finger, and he wouldn't have seen it because of this wife that he has. I'm serious. It makes me so mad. He is like, I mean, the guy probably had something that Mr. Darnell didn't like, but this woman just took the cake because she was probably way too attractive.
Jealous of the pastor.
No, he didn't say one word. And the thing is, again,
how does he not condemn the pastor for controlling his wife? Because, you know, they do that.
Exactly. And that's another thing is like, why did this pastor allow his wife to dress like this? Especially, why did they even invite Mr. Darnell to their church if he knew that his wife just did not meet up to those standards? I mean,
I really would love to see her actual outfit.
Oh, me too.
Because it was probably extremely modest.
Oh, yeah.
I can guarantee you it was
her hair
very
was probably
modest.
Below her shoulders, Sarah. It might have been trimmed. Like,
because you know they don't allow you to have sleeves past 3/4 length. It has to be below your elbow no matter what you're doing. Your skirts have to be below your knees, sitting or standing. What else he said? Her skirt was too short. Her sleeves were too short. Her hair was too short. She probably just trimmed it.
And her tongue was too long.
And her tongue was too long. I'm sorry.
What does that mean? What does that even mean? Did she talk?
I mean, generally when they say you have a long tongue, they're referring to gossip.
I seriously doubt she gossiped in front of him, but okay, whatever.
And apparently this is a new pastor and wife. How does he know her? How does he know her tongue is long?
Exactly. Like I said.
I mean, like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, maybe he did know them previously, but there's so many questions. And I'm not going to, I'm just saying based on what he's saying, all of our opinions are based on what he's saying. And yes, we are assuming some things.
Yeah.
But this is also based on experience. So that's where we're drawing these conclusions from. Yeah. So let's keep going because it gets better.
Proceeded to unload on me, and she went on and on. Now, I've learned not to interfere with the ladies. I just let her run on and on and on till she ran down, and it took her quite a while. But when she had finished, apparently, I said to her, "Do you not want me to go to heaven?"
Oh! Okay.
I'm like, there's so many things he just did right there. He's again victimhood space big time. Then he insults women at large, and he is I mean, he makes it sound like he did her a favor by letting her get it all out.
Yep.
And then starts the emotional manipulation.
Absolutely.
And it gets really hardcore. So listen a little more.
Don't you want me to make it to heaven? Yes, Brother Darnell, I want you to make it to heaven. Well, I couldn't be real sure if she was going to be there, whether she wanted me there or not. But
yeah. Did I not say he was judge and jury?
Okay. There are very few moments that I am without words, but I'm really trying my hardest not to cuss right now because
Watch the model words, sister.
yes.
I'm sorry.
So not only, I think that's what he meant when he said her tongue was too long, possibly is not the gossip, but just the fact that she just went on and on him and had every right to.
Yes. And again, she was doing what he said a holy person should do.
Absolutely. Confront. She was doing exactly what she was.
She didn't talk behind his back.
She confronted him. She didn't go wagging her tongue at the congregation that she was a part of. But she also was probably being pointed out by him from the pulpit.
Yeah. Why would she have to hold it in?
Yeah. The spotlight was put on her in front of the rest of the congregation. No doubt. And then he turns it on her and basically says that if he doesn't do this to her, then he would not make it to heaven. And so all of a sudden, not only is he against her, but God is against her. Yes. And she's a freaking pastor's wife.
Mm-hmm. He did another DARVO inside of a DARVO.
Yeah.
It's literally like you can't catch your breath. It happens so quickly and so potently.
Right. He is quite literally one of the most toxic preachers I have ever listened to, and I've listened to a lot.
Yep.
But this right here, this last 5-minute section.
Oh, we're only 2 minutes, honey.
Is it 2-minute section?
The part where the pastor's wife starts at about the 16-minute mark. We're at 18:02.
Yeah. This last little section where he's talking about her is one of the most abusive things I've ever heard behind the pulpit.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's sorry, he is questioning her Christianity.
Yes.
Whether or not she'll be in heaven with him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's saying, I'm there. I don't know about you.
Exactly. Think about how long a revival typically lasts. 1 week.
Uh-huh.
This might have been night 2, 3, or 4.
Well, it sounds like it was decently into it.
Probably decently into it. But we're talking about 1 week. And he knew from the very moment he laid eyes on her that
he had a problem with her.
He had a problem with her and that she was probably not a Christian. I mean, that is what he is saying, because Christians are the ones who don't make it to heaven.
Well, listen to what he said, though. He said, I know you have something wrong in your life. And it's completely based on what he's looking at.
He doesn't know. He does not know her, especially if she was a new pastor. He was talking about the congregation knew him because he's been to that church so many times.
Yeah.
This was a new pastor and his wife.
Uh-huh.
Did not know.
They probably just had him because he'd been there so many times before, and he said yes because he's been there so many times before.
Right. This was his first meeting of this pastor's wife.
Yes. Yeah. They're probably pretty young.
The thing about it is that why did she have to be, to my understanding, the way I'm listening to it, her husband is not right there with her. asking
He seems
questions
pretty
to her.
absent.
Yeah. He should not have been absent in this conversation. She should not have been alone in that conversation.
You know what's interesting is the way this is kind of actually just all coming together. This is a literal retelling of Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
I don't think she's alone. I think he's there. He's just not saying anything.
Well, then she's alone.
And he is the serpent that he's so aptly described before. He's slithering little snake.
Yes.
He is the serpent.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one who's acting like the victim.
Uh-huh.
The husband's doing nothing about it. And then he's like, well, don't you want to go to heaven? Don't you want me to go to heaven?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the answer is yes. Who's going to say no?
Exactly. I mean, and you're just like backing someone up against the wall. And the thing is that her husband might have been in the room, but she was still alone in the conversation.
And you know what? Yes, she was emotionally alone. The other thing I find interesting that is a correlation to the Adam and Eve story is that once again, this, Adam blamed God for what Eve did.
Yeah.
And he is also blaming God for this whole thing.
Absolutely.
So he's a little bit of a combo there. All right, we got to keep going.
Nevertheless, I said to her, don't you want me really? Don't you want me to make it to heaven? Sister, I'm not preaching what I'm preaching just simply from notions and ideas. These are not notions and ideas to me. These are God-given convictions based on the Bible, sealed by the Holy Ghost. I'm preaching as little, lady, I'm preaching as little as I can preach and make it into heaven. If I preached any less than I'm preaching, I'd be walking against light. Isn't
that an interesting take there? That he's preaching as little as he can preach?
Yeah,
as in he's doing the bare minimum.
Yeah, that puts like a whole other panic-inducing feeling on what else there could possibly be. I mean, it's like he has a whole arsenal that he's been shooting in this sermon, and yet that's the bare minimum?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel really bad for people who ever had to sit and listen to this man and actually believe anything that comes out of his horrible, big, fat mouth.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Because like I'm like the first time I listened to this actually almost exactly 2 years ago, by the way. My thought was like, what about that whole, if you're doing the bare minimum, they like to talk a lot about being too close to the edge and having guardrails. I'm like, this kind of flies in the face of that idea.
For sure.
Of doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
You should never do the bare minimum because the bare minimum is pushing against the guardrails.
That's true.
Like, how close can you get to the edge and be okay?
Right.
That's a whole ideology that they like to harp on.
I've heard the guardrail.
Yes. And then like towards the end of that, he's like doubling down again on his victimhood.
Yeah. Yeah. He keeps saying, don't you want me to make it to heaven? Don't you want me to make it to heaven?
Such emotional gaslighting and manipulation. I mean, I know I'm talking, but I also at the same time feel a bit speechless.
I know, right? I mean,
it's such a weird feeling.
The more you go into it, the more you're just like infuriated. Like when I get mad, like seriously mad, I can't speak. So there have been moments where I'm just like, okay, I don't even know what to say because this is so corrupt. And I mean, it is like I'm feeling it in every bit of my body and in my heart area, like my chest and in my stomach.
Can you take a second?
And I'm just angry. I mean, I can just feel like it all through my body. It's not shutting me down like
Can
it
you
would
imagine?
have.
We're only 18 minutes into a sermon. This sermon is actually an hour long.
I can't imagine. Oh my goodness. I can't imagine sitting through something like that.
Like, we're not going to do this whole sermon. No freaking way.
No, there's no way.
All right. Onward.
Say everybody has to preach like I do. Oh, no. How ridiculous for me to say such a thing. No, sir. But I know what God would have me do, and I can't get to heaven with any less. Don't you want me to make it into the city of God? Yes, Brother Darnell, I want you to make it to heaven. That was all that was said about it until the last night of the meeting. After the last sermon had been preached, the last altar call made, and the revival is over as far as my part was concerned, and I was ready to leave. She said, Preacher, I have somewhat to say unto thee. You and I haven't agreed.
I have somewhat to say unto thee. Where are we, Sarah? Freaking Renaissance. I am so sure.
I know.
She did not say that.
I have somewhat to say unto thee. I know she didn't say that. She said, Brother Darnell, I need to talk to you.
No kidding. I have a bone to pick with you. Piece of
Oh my gosh. But like, again, do you hear the absolute theatrical victimhood?
Yes, you do. Because
It is, I mean, it's almost laughable, but
Yeah.
it's so on point. And this is like what was normal for
yeah,
us.
right.
Like, I've never heard this guy actually preach in person, but this is nothing that I haven't heard.
No, it's been a while since I've heard it, but
Thank God.
it is actually like very similar to. Okay, it's very similar to the way some of my extended family member, in particular, the way they talked.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you probably do. The way they would talk.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's triggering because their interpretation of scripture was so messed up and was carried down, but I heard them talk about this preacher.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that person speak, and it's one of the biggest emotional manipulative speakers I've heard. That would be like of our time.
Yeah, actually, I'm talking about a woman.
Oh, well, but I mean, I've heard this on a very grand scale.
Yes.
Like,
Absolutely.
personally.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, they're usually trying to get money.
That's true.
It is. All right, so at this point, you're going to listen to. I have questions about this because on my second listen, I'm like, this revival sounds like it was massive. I mean, just listen and preach. We know it was coercive. It was manipulative. Like, just in these 19 minutes, that's all it has been. So we know that that's how he preaches. So I can only imagine. I would love to know what those sermons were about. I'm sure it was about standards.
Oh, I would too. Well, oh, yeah. Well, for one thing, it was probably on cutting hair, jewelry,
Sleeves, skirt length,
and skirt length, and it was all about women.
Well, and it's loving to preach that way, right?
Right.
Right. Okay. Here we go.
On everything in this meeting. Well, dear friends, that was the understatement of the century. If I was to believe what she told me that night before, that was the understatement of the century. According to what she told me, we didn't agree on anything except Jesus saves, sanctifies, and keeps, without any of the elaboration that goes along with it. But she said, I've listened to you very carefully, preacher, and watched you very closely, perhaps much more than you know. I'm sorry to say that numbers of the evangelists that we have had across the years have seemed to know all the shady, mean, nasty, crooked things that people in the Holiness movement are supposed to have done. And while they're with us in the meeting, very often some of them unload on us and tell us all the mean, dirty, nasty, crooked, shady things that people are supposed to have done. But I have listened to...
Okay. I found that to be very telling. So she's saying that because he didn't gossip about all the people that he knew, which is commendable. I'll give him that he didn't tell stories on other people. I mean, thank God for holding him back. He just did it in his sermons.
Exactly.
He just let people have it in his sermons, whatever that was. But because he didn't gossip or talk about what other people were doing, around their table after services, that now she could say that he was a good person. Her assessment that he didn't say anything of the shady, mean, nasty things that people have done is not grounds for him or for saying he has a good attitude. He doesn't. His tactics are, this is like literally some examples of narcissistic behaviors. 101. They fall in line with those kind of examples. They're very covert. He leaves out specifics when he's preaching because it makes everything subjective. Because again, it gives you that emotional instability.
Right.
Excuse me. And so that's what creates the fear of accidentally missing heaven. Accidentally, mind you. Some of it's covert, some of it's not, but it's normalized behavior in this environment.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Especially in the 80s. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. They were still very, I remember going to some revivals. I was young. I was like 2 and 3 years old. And I just have very, not vivid, but just very of these outdoor, like tabernacle style meetings that I would go to. My mom would pretty much drag us to, and she was feeling under conviction in a lot of
how would you not?
because of her life. And then a preacher would come through town and she would go. And I just remember her so many times kneeling beside the couch at home, praying and crying. And that in and of itself just put so much fear into me and my sisters to have to see that, see that instability that she was going through. But also it was usually after those camp meetings where she went and was lambasted by preachers who didn't have a clue who she was. But I personally think she was targeted in those kinds of camp meetings. And she was one of the people that they saw walking through the doors and decided to change their sermons.
Well, Christy, you've already said she'd been divorced 3 times.
Well, at that point, she'd been divorced only once, but she had 3.
Well, that's enough.
That's
enough to put a massive target on your back.
Absolutely.
In these circles. That's like literally one of their unpardonable sins.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing is that if you get divorced and then have the audacity to get remarried, it doesn't matter, especially back then. It didn't matter if that marriage, the first marriage, was from sexual abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse.
It never mattered what it was.
And then if you got married, like, you had to stay single. Otherwise, you weren't going to make it to heaven. That was the narrative.
They still believe that.
In my head, absolutely.
I've seen some pretty crazy crap go down because of this very topic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I know that wasn't part of the thing, but
no,
it's just like when you see it firsthand, just lay low somebody who is already laid low.
Pretty down. And
then she's got 3 small children to have to stay strong for.
Yep.
What the heck? They weren't contributing to her health at all.
They love to kick you while you're down and call it love.
Absolutely. And then all you have to do is get saved. And then that just makes everything better. And that will solve all your problems.
Well, and then when you get entirely sanctified, everything goes away. Everything's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're perfect.
So how could everything else not be perfect?
Yeah.
Like, how would you ever struggle with having anger again? Well, good grief. Look at what's coming through the preacher's mouth, let alone the people.
Well,
why in the world would you ever struggle with anger in this environment?
Yeah, and if you're angry, that must be righteous indignation. If it's
you have to qualify it with
a man. If you're a man, though, still, if you're a woman and you get angry, that's looked on a little bit differently. But if you're a man and you get upset,
that's carnality.
Yeah. Carnality. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's a trigger word.
Yeah.
Here we go.
To you and watched you very carefully, and I have not heard you say one harm word about anybody. And moreover, preacher, while I haven't agreed with everything that's been said, I'm going to have to admit you have shown the right attitude and the right spirit. I said, lady, I'd rather you'd be able to say that than anything in the world you could say. Far more than that you appreciated the ministry. Far more than that. I'm glad you have to admit I've kept my mouth shut and I've not said things I shouldn't have said. And at the same time that you have to admit that I've backed it up with the right attitude and with the right spirit.
So let's just put ourselves a little bit higher on that pedestal. I mean, let's just give ourselves all kinds of pats on the back and Scooby snacks.
Yes.
I am so sick of this guy.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, like, he's doing that reversal again. Like, I am the victim. You're the offender. I'm glad you have to admit.
You have to.
Twice. You have to admit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a power dynamic right there.
Right.
Like, I'm in control.
Mm-hmm.
And you, little peon, have to admit that I'm right.
But not only that, you had to come under. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, well, yeah, because that's the power. That is the power and control dynamic.
That is.
You come under me.
Came under that authority enough to have to come up to you. Now I've lost complete and total confidence in this woman personally by going up to him. Right. Because it was still, she stood up for herself in the beginning. And then throughout, she's the typical, what happens? She was knocked down.
She's the problem
enough
the whole time.
Yeah. She was knocked down enough to where she finally came under that authority and decided he must be right.
Well, again, this goes back to the very beginning of this sermon where he places himself as judge and jury.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This whole time, he is the judge and jury.
Yeah. Because
you want to talk about grandiose behavior?
Yeah.
It's in spades in here.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So now at this point, you're going to see where he's starting to DARVO the congregation.
Oh, crap.
Okay.
All right.
So he's DARVOing the congregation. It's going to intertwine with gaslighting the pastor's wife and the congregation, and his actions, he's going to say were right and holy. And he's going to deny wrong behavior, and he's going to exercise power over the pastor's wife and the congregation by forcing admission, which is what he just did, actually, that he's the victim and he's right in the situation. So now he's going to actually continue in denial and projection of what he just did and is actively doing.
Boy, I want to tell you that no matter who preaches what at any time or any place, unless it's backed up with the right attitude and with the right spirit, then it's nullifying the ministry, and it will do more harm than it'll do good. Of course, I know there are always people that'll sit out in the congregation that when the message touches them and locates them.
Okay, did you hear that? He just went, he denied that he was in any sort of wrong.
Yeah.
And now he's like gaslighting the congregation and this poor lady who's not there to defend herself.
Right.
His actions were right and holy. He denied any wrong behavior. So now he's going to start, well, okay. The statement that he made about that kind of behavior ruining a ministry is true. Yeah, but it's also what he's doing.
Exactly. I was going to say he's explaining himself.
He's saying that
that's what he's doing.
It's actually like it is gaslighting in action. This is true. This is what I'm doing, which is the wrong thing, but telling them it's the right thing. Like saying that his actions are the right thing, even though it's a complete mind fuck. Like, complete gaslighting, saying that what is happening is not happening and that it's holy.
Right.
Gaslighting 101. Okay, so now listen to where he's talking to the congregation now. And okay, he just said that. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. So now he's going on the attack against the congregation, okay?
Oh, great.
Yep.
Digs them out and shows them where they are. Immediately they cry, bad spirit, ugly spirit. They do that because they're touched in their heart and because of the fury and the indignation of the old carnality that rises up in their soul when it's exposed. But nevertheless, it's wonderful to know that when you're accused of it, you're not guilty, that it's as sweet and heavenly as a May Day down on the inside of your soul, and no enmity and no rancor and no wrath, but a desire to help souls and to see them get to God.
When you're accused of it,
you know you're right.
You know you're right. So he's in this state of constant, I am right and everyone else around me is wrong because I hear directly from the Lord. This is what he has told himself over and over and over, no doubt in prayer, in writing these messed up sermons, and in behind the pulpit. And then not only that, Sarah, but the way he is treated. He is treated like a god by these holy people. Therefore, he must have no wrong in him. He's been told
when you inspire that much fear in people, what do you expect?
Exactly. And when you're revered that much, what do you expect? And he's just...
Okay, and now also along with that, like that attitude and this mindset are pretty typical for the men.
Yeah.
Like all of the men.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously not all, but the majority. So, and they are also in a community mindset of tell it like it is. Mm-hmm. Call out the sin, which they really, like the sin for them is all these externals. Like that poor pastor's wife who is too short and long in all the wrong places.
Exactly.
Like that's what they want people to talk about.
Right.
And I think it's very interesting that he preaches against all this gossip when that's literally what they live for.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is that I am fine to say I gossip. I'm totally fine with saying that because it's all up to interpretation what that means. I mean, I like to tell stories. I like to talk about stuff. I like to talk about people. Never do I do not talk about people who don't do shit like this. This is...
Yeah, what is gossip? Define gossip.
Yeah, I feel like that it's putting other people down. It's putting... Yeah. It's like you're talking about them in order to...
slanderous.
Huh?
It's like slanderous. Like you're tearing them down. Like you're
tearing people down, which is what this guy is doing in his sermon.
Yeah.
He's gossiping about this poor pastor's wife and putting her down. You notice he didn't put her back up after she came under
the
authority of him. He didn't put her back up. He put himself up. He put himself up higher after she came to him and noticed. I mean, he basically told the whole congregation that he thought this pastor's wife was going straight to hell.
Yeah.
Basically said that because of the way she dresses.
He never went back on that.
He never did. He never said, bless her heart, she came to the realization, and I believe that she's on her way to heaven. He never said anything like that. All he did was put himself up and continued to put her down, even though he tried to.
I mean, I swear, he's got like some holy ego air pumps by his feet that he just constantly pumps.
Absolutely.
Like, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm doing all these things. I'm so holy. I'm so holy.
Yeah. And this is the message being delved out to everyone in the congregation, or specifically men, and men who are in authority over a church, like a pastor. Yeah. And not only, so much. This is so much.
Yes. We're almost to the end of what we're going to cover. So I'm not really sorry that this is long, because this is so important to understand that this is the kind of stuff we're dealing with. And you need to be able to recognize when a pastor or any person is doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that indicates that they are not a safe person and you need to walk away.
But also, this is what you and I are trying to come away from.
We are coming away from. Yeah.
And this is what we are trying to get our kids away from. So important to do that for our next generation. Okay, go.
Yes. All right.
Well, I want to tell you frankly, friends, that you're going to have to make right what you've been saying. Oh, just remember that while that tongue of yours is wagging and you're saying things about people behind their back, you shouldn't be saying, I'm going to have to go back one of these days, and I'm going to have to make all of this right. I'm going to have to fix every bit of it up. I'll tell you, if you'll remember that right along, there'll be times and you'll keep your mouth shut when you let it freely run. I can tell you that for sure. I've had to go back yonder across the years and make some things.
Okay. That whole section this is all like verbal and emotional whiplash.
Yeah.
So he's like continuing to attack now the congregation for saying things about people behind their back, referring to people talking about him, and then essentially he's trying to silence those who are calling out his abusive behavior. Those people he said, bad spirit, bad spirit, bad spirit, and he's saying that these people are wrong.
Right.
And then he's also like, you have until you come back and you come under and you apologize. You put me back on the pedestal where I belong and you back under me where you belong. And he slides back and forth in his adjectives that go from specific to vague. Like everything really ultimately stays vague because that's how he controls you.
Yeah.
Because then your mind is going to wonder, you know what you said.
Right.
And he's going to make you question it.
Yeah.
And because his terminology is so vague, you're going to you're going to name your behavior as rebellious and gossip and, all these things.
Right.
He doesn't have to. It's honestly brilliant. He doesn't have to say specifically what you did. He's going to let you condemn yourself.
Right. As long as you
come under him and put him back on his pedestal.
And I've literally heard and been affected by preachers who said stuff like this and then said, you know what you did. And those kinds of mind things, especially at youth camps and stuff like that, when I would go and you are so sensitive to everything and you're trying to figure out feelings and figure out, hormones are going crazy and and your friends just were mean to you and you're confused because this is supposed to be a holiness camp. And so why are there kids like this here? That kind of thing. And then you go and you're condemning everything that you did that day because of what the preacher said behind the pulpit. And in reality, you didn't do anything wrong. Like you're just, this is especially toxic on teenagers.
Yes.
Especially.
Well, what this is bringing to mind, I don't know if you remember in college, but when I was in college, they would talk about from the pulpit people who had they would call them overly sensitive consciences, right?
Yeah.
Those people came from this type of background, like more particularly, where this type of preaching was pretty regular and normal. And I'm sorry, but how do you not have an overly sensitive conscience when this is what has been fed to you your whole life?
Right. From infancy.
That is actually a trauma response.
Absolutely.
It is not just an overly sensitive conscience.
No, it's not.
It's a trauma response.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Again, not a professional.
No, I believe so too. I mean, I think that because these people were in homes that revered this kind of preaching and this kind of a preacher, but also there were some homes that the dad was this kind of preacher.
Oh, like, absolutely.
He was the type of person that would listen to these sermons.
Well, he was this kind of dictator.
Huh?
He was this kind of dictator.
Yeah. Get inspiration for his sermons that he preached on Sundays and then upheld in his home. And I know I'm thinking about one particular person.
Me too.
And so, yeah. But I do not believe that this is just like a personality. I mean, I do believe some people are just like, this is their personality. They're just overly sensitive about a lot of things in life. But when it is about spiritual abuse, it crosses a certain line that is even more, I don't know, it just seems different to me than just someone who's conscientious about their everyday life. It's like you're conscientious about your life after death, and that crosses a whole...
Well, it's eternal. Yeah. It's eternal hell or damnation.
Yeah, it crosses a whole line, and it causes a whole bunch more problems.
Okay, so I'm going to actually disagree with you a little bit, and I think you'll understand.
Yeah.
People who may be naturally sensitive in their conscience, I don't think that happens. I think that is cultivated because of their family dynamics. I think that a lot of times people who exhibit those types of behaviors are neurodivergent. There's a lot more sensitivity to that when you have neurodivergence in play.
Mm-hmm.
And then what to me is like even more insidious is to add this layer of spiritual abuse. And it's going to intensify that 1,000-fold.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Okay, so I totally agree. This is not a personality disorder, the way that people would talk about ADHD or autism or that kind of thing. Not that those really, in my opinion, are disorders. They are just on a scale. So, however, when you put this kind of trauma response, which is what this is, onto an already autistic person or a person who is OCD or, whatever, then it becomes debilitating, quite literally.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that, right? In the individual I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I have had I've had moments of just severe depression, anxiety, and loss of just like hope, just like no hope, just from the way life in general affects this individual.
Right.
And I'm not trying to turn myself into a victim. I'm saying for them.
Right.
I have cried many, many tears for them because they can't get out of it. Like, it is so debilitating.
Yeah.
Not being able to go to work, not being able to get up and shower, not being, all of this stuff. And it's simply from spiritual abuse. I mean,
Yep.
it's from this kind of spiritual abuse.
Yeah.
From the time they were an infant to even today, they are still feeding into that.
It really does destroy entire lives.
It does. Entire families.
Yeah.
Not just their life, it is their family, their children. They have the relationship with their children is destroyed because of this kind of spiritual abuse.
Yes.
This guy, Mr. Darnell, I can't say whether he's in heaven or hell, but he did not do human beings right when he was on this earth. He didn't.
Mm-mm.
This is
no. I heard a podcast actually with an interview of someone who grew up like this, who ended up with like being diagnosed with something called scrupulosity, which layman's terms is spiritual OCD.
Wow. I think I've heard you talk about scrupulosity. I did not realize that's what it was.
Yeah, it's an actual diagnosis.
Oh, wow.
And it was very eye-opening. In fact, I can throw the link in the description if people are interested in hearing that.
That's really
it was an interesting listen.
Yeah.
But like these types of dynamics and messages, it's in my opinion, these systems that they operate within it's a narcissistic type of system.
Yeah.
And behavior. Like that's what it looks like to me. And it wreaks havoc on people's nervous systems, which ends up having very physical effects. Like it is abuse.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Let me see where we're at here. We just have just a tiny bit more to go to finish up for today. And I know this has been long, but I think it's been worth it.
Right along this line that have made me cautious and wary about what I speak, have made me weigh my words and be careful even about the influence that I give them when I'm speaking regarding other people. Are you listening to me out there under the sound of my voice? Yes, preacher, I said some things about somebody. I really did. I said some things about people behind their back, but I told nothing but the truth on them. Well, dear friends, that great evangelist Charles G. Finney said that when you tell the truth on people behind their back, in order to hurt their reputation, their influence with others, you're guilty of slander in the sight of God. And we'll give a...
Okay, hold up. If you tell the truth about people behind their back,
you're guilty of slander.
What exactly are those truths?
Exactly. Did you molest a child? Because I will definitely warn another parent of a child molester in my midst.
Did you abuse your wife, your children?
Absolutely.
Because this, from what people are telling me, like friends have told me, these are the things that apparently are happening.
Mm-hmm. And being covered.
Like, I'm not saying this this is not my opinion. This is based on what I've been told.
Right.
And so he's literally telling you to shut up about the truth of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's slander?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, to this day, we have churches covering up whole entire sexual discrepancy. I mean, just things that people need to know about.
Yes. To keep their children safe.
They would be arrested for. Yeah. To keep their children safe, to keep other... I mean, I'm sorry. It falls on women and children.
Yeah.
And it's from the men.
And boys.
And boys. And it's from the men in their church. And they are covering all of this crap up and still welcoming these people with open arms. I mean, you've gone through something very recently where something was covered up and you reached out for help and they disregarded it and then welcomed them with open arms, literally right under your nose.
Yep. Oh, in front of my face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right in front of your face. So this is
like, we're not just talking on opinion and what ifs.
No.
Like, these are things that we have A, experienced, B, our friends have told us about because they experienced it.
Yep.
Like, we're not, and I'm not going to tell their stories because it's not ours to tell. But like, this is why, like, when he's not using specific language here. He's not giving caveats like, hey, if someone's abusing you, you should be talking to somebody. Hey, if something like this is happening, you should be calling the police and making this like a crime scene, or like the correct legal process to have justice in the case of a crime.
No, he's putting it all under a blanket.
All of this is if you tell the truth about a person behind their back to ruin their ministry, I'm telling you, that is code for abuse.
Absolutely. And that's exactly right. He is basically letting you know to keep your big fat mouth shut about a case about sexual abuse or anything else that you think other people should know. But boy, can we talk about a pastor's wife whose tongue is too long and whose skirt is too short and whose hair is too short, and what we think about her and put her directly into the pit of hell just simply because of that one thing. We better not talk about people behind their back, especially if it's telling the truth about them. I mean, it is like the most.
I'm like, do you know what slander actually is, sir?
Well, apparently, what this all says to me, Sarah, is apparently it does not apply to him. And it does not apply,
doesn't apply to any man.
To any man that he is speaking to in the congregation. He is pinpointing this pastor's. And it is
literally, I feel like
pastor's wife, basically.
Yeah. Well, rather than address all of the like very real abuse that's happening, they're just going to focus on women and what they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
According to them.
And then what will happen if they step out of line? What they should do.
He is still publicly humiliating this woman.
Yeah. What they
years later.
So, even her coming up to him and saying, not that she necessarily apologized, but she was basically saying, I recognize that you're a good person. So
that you didn't say all this slander. It's not even that you didn't tell what these other leaders, other preachers are doing. That is awful. You're not talking about it.
Yeah.
Which, I'm sorry, but which one of those is worse?
I know, right? Like, he should have been talking about the preachers that were doing horrible things.
Why are we all talking about what we know people are doing and not do anything about it?
Exactly. Like, that is the whole, oh my goodness.
Why do we know what's happening? And these people are still running around preaching.
We just have to live with it. Yeah. You know, okay, I'm going to share one more thing that my daughter said, because this is so profound and it fits right here. 14 years old. I'm so proud of her. 14 years old. And my oldest daughter and your oldest daughter talk frequently. And there's sometimes I'm just like, oh, I would like to be part of that conversation, because they are like, some of the things they talk about are amazing.
Yeah.
She said, society teaches, well, more specifically, the Holiness movement teaches men that they are supposed to be in control all the time over anybody.
Yep.
And then, in turn, teaches women how to deal with that.
Oh, yeah.
That's all it is. It's just that men are in control and women are to be taught how to deal with them being in control. How we're supposed to come under that authority. So, I mean, yeah, very simple terms, but very profound. that
Yes.
this is the way that we're supposed to do. And he's doing this. He's basically saying, if you step out of line at some point in time, you're going to have to come under. You're going to have to admit that the person that you went up against, which was him.
I mean, if it's a person in authority, you definitely can't say anything.
Oh, absolutely not. That is speaking against the Lord's anointed, and that's probably a whole podcast right there.
It always boils down to it's a preacher or your husband.
Yeah, and it's not right. It's actually a straight out sin to go up against them. That's
you can't tell the truth.
You cannot. Yeah, don't speak your mind, and you can discuss things with them. But definitely the bottom line is that you're not going to sway their decision, and the indecision is theirs alone.
All right. We have about 15 more seconds to go, I think, and then we're going to wrap up this having anything to do with the sermon again. So here we go.
Count thereof when you come to stand at the judgment bar of God. Oh, it's so easy to pop up in the testimony meeting and say, if I've said anything about anybody I shouldn't have said, I want them to forgive me. You think you're going to get by with that little blanket confession, but I have news for you, friend. You're not going to get by with that. You committed those sins with that tongue of yours one by one and face to face, and you're going to make them right just like you committed them one by one. And if you're a real man or a real woman, you'll tell them what you've been saying too. And they never do include that. They'll just say those few little words. You'll tell them what you've been saying if you're a real man and a real woman.
Okay, I'm just going to let it stop there. But he literally defines a fake apology.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because that means he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And also he says that, a correctly worded apology does it. He knows what it is because you name what you've done. But it doesn't mean it's genuine. I'm going to scoot back to here. Let's see. 21. We're at 21:56. Okay, listen to what he says right here.
I can tell you that for sure. I've had to go back yonder across the years and make some things right along this line that have made me cautious and wary about what I speak, have made me weigh my words and be careful even about the influence that I give them when I'm speaking regarding.
What kind of apology was that?
That was not enough. He's not going to get away with that.
According to his own words, he's not getting away with that.
He's not going to get away with that tiny little apology. He's going to have to tell.
Listen, did you hear him fudge around? Like he wouldn't say what he actually said?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He won't even tell the truth to this congregation because that would take him off that pedestal real fast.
Absolutely. And he's got to stay up there in order to push through what he wants to say to these people, these poor people.
Yeah, he's like
he's going to have to go back to those people and tell them that he's a backslidden, nasty sinner. It is like the worst. You're not going to satisfy anybody. You're definitely not going to satisfy God. So why even try? I would never. I'm so disturbed.
It's extremely disturbing. So I did listen to more of the sermon when I first went through this, and it gets worse, believe it or not.
Yeah.
He leaves me pretty dumbfounded.
I'm sure.
And it veers off on the misapplied scripture pretty quickly.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, this is an hour-long sermon, and we got into just 23 minutes, maybe. But it's enough.
Yeah.
It's enough to see the entire system pretty much laid bare, like the hierarchy.
Uh-huh.
Of course, we know who's at the top. The manipulation and the DARVO.
Yeah.
Tactics that turn accountability into quote unquote attacks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it leaves me at a loss for some words.
And sick to my stomach.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like I need to take a break for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do like grounding exercises or something.
Yeah. But like, that's why this matters.
Yeah.
Because those messages clearly didn't stay in the 80s.
No. Mm-mm.
No.
They are still rampant today.
Yes, they like literally shaped entire generations of how we saw God, ourselves, and submission, and what that was supposed to mean.
Right.
Which, let's not even go there.
Oh,
I'm going to start twitching here soon.
okay.
But that was a lot for today. All right. So just to like kind of wrap this whole thing up and land the plane, like we understand that this was a long and a hard listen and very possibly triggering for a lot of people.
Yes.
Like it took us some doing to get through this. So be sure to take care of yourselves after listening to this if this is triggering for you. And realize, I hope that you're on the other side of this, or that if you're questioning this, you're not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the problem. That this is actually quite textbook behavior. If you will do some research on these types of systems and behaviors, it's not you. You should be questioning people who speak, act, behave, and preach like this. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Let us know your thoughts in the comments if you have questions. And once again, we are not professionals. These are our opinions, and we hope that it was helpful. So thank you all for listening. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. That would really help us out. Leave us any reviews. If you're on Apple or Spotify, leave us reviews and help us get the word out there. So thank you again for listening.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for dialing in to I'm on the Phone with Sara and Christy, where we're reclaiming the calm, one story at a time. Join us again next week for more stories about our pre, post, and mid-culty life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for listening, and thanks for sticking around extra long today. See you next week.